Welcome to the Not Old Better Show. I'm your host, Paul Vogelzang, and this is episode number 239. As part of our Smithsonian Associates Art of Living interview series, our guest today on the Not Old Better Show is the multitalented Nicholas Kralev. Nicholas Kralev has been on the show previously and was such a huge draw for our Not Old Better audience. He's kindly agreed to return this time on the important summer subject of travel. I thought I'd play a little laid-back jazz in honor of Nicholas Kralev because travel can be so hectic, frenzied, and, well, not laid back. Nicholas Kralev is going to help us make travel more enjoyable and hence less stressful. Nicholas Kralev is a globe-trotting author and entrepreneur who has visited almost 100 countries and flown more than 2 million miles. He decided that knowledge is the most effective key to affordable and comfortable travel. He learned to master the system and how to beat the airlines at their own game, using their rules. His resulting book, Decoding Air Travel, a guide to saving on airfare and flying in luxury, became an Amazon bestseller.
It took me years to figure it out, right? I had to write a book to make it clear to people how it works. Things are so dynamic in terms of the systems and the technology and the software that the airlines use that, in any case, I'll make it clear that it's a science. It's not a trick. It's a science.
That, of course, is our guest today, Nicholas Kralev, who will be appearing at the Smithsonian Associates program titled Decoding Air Travel, a practical guide for frustrated flyers. Nicholas Kralev will be appearing Saturday, August 4th at the Ripley Center in Washington, D.C., where you will learn how to take the pain out of travel by flying in business class for the price of coach, enjoying elite perks such as upgrades, lounge access, free luggage, and priority boarding. I mean, this sounds like this is really a great show. You guys are going to love this. So join me as we welcome back to the Not Old Better Show via internet phone, Nicholas Kralev. Nicholas Kralev, welcome again to this program.
Yes, good to be back.
Good to talk to you again. And today we're going to talk about Decoding Air Travel, your upcoming presentation at the Smithsonian Associates. Tell us a little bit about that presentation.
Well, I am quite anticipating the presentation on August 4th. It's what the Smithsonian Associates calls a full-day class, although it's only 4 hours. It's 2 in the morning and then lunch and 2 in the afternoon. So it may sound like a lot of time, but for this subject, if people really want to understand the system, it's actually not that long. But the point here is to help people who like to travel or who have to travel learn the system and work it to their advantage. I think in the last few years, the airlines have taken a complete advantage of the customer. They now charge us more for what they used to include in the prices they charge. So the prices didn't get lower. It's just that they are now trying to get us to pay more for the same services they offered before. So I think they've, in a way, gone completely out of control. The frequent flyer programs have become absolutely customer unfriendly. And I think it's because of corporate greed. They're trying to make more money offering the same or less of what they used to offer.
Leading to, of course, a great deal of frustration on the part of travelers these days. And so,
absolutely. And that's what I hate most, because I would like for more Americans to go out and see the world and learn about other cultures and other countries. I think that would make better voters when election day comes around this year and any other year. I think that the worldview of people changes when they go out and experience other countries, other cultures, and meet other people. And so I really am very sad that people now complain, and rightly so, that travel has become more expensive, unaffordable, more of a hassle, more inconvenient, that the airlines are taking people for a ride. And so I would like to change that. I'd like to give people the tools to be able to not only work the system to their advantage, but also be able to react in the best way for them when something goes wrong, because something will go wrong. I mean, this travel is dependent on so many factors, including the weather and other forces that are beyond our control, that sometimes if it is in the airline's control, they should take responsibility. Unfortunately, more and more these days, they just shrug and leave you to essentially be on your own.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. It's certainly a good jumping off point. You've written a book about this subject, Decoding Air Travel. You're going to be presenting at the Smithsonian Associates program on a very detailed, helpful course about this subject because it requires that. It is so complex these days. Why is travel so complex?
Because the airlines have made it so on purpose to confuse the public. And that's very clear if you look behind the scenes and the raw data that I will talk about and I will show on August 4th. The complexity of airfares, this was done on purpose. It's done so the traveling public doesn't understand it or doesn't take the time to understand it. And that way, you can pay whatever that website or the other website says, or the agent on the phone says you have to pay, with you not even knowing. How is it possible that half an hour ago the computer was showing one thing, or yesterday or 2 days ago, and now it's this other thing? What changed? And of course things change. These systems are very dynamic, and it's 2018, so of course you rely on algorithms and software and technology to do all this. But if you don't understand what goes into sort of making the sausage of an airfare or of a plane ticket, then you will be completely at the mercy of the airlines.
You've really come to understand this master, this labyrinth, and all of this data, which you'll be sharing, teaching us on August 4th at this excellent upcoming presentation. I just encourage all of my audience to attend this. Give us a taste of some of your greatest successes in savings on tickets and how you managed that.
I, for a few years, have been helping friends and clients. This isn't my main line of work, as so you and some of your listeners who heard the previous interview on diplomacy and now know. But I do have a sort of separate business of airline consulting and training, and it's not that I want to be a travel agent, because I don't. I want to educate people. So that's all this is about. It's about education, because that's the key. For me, this is the most effective tool to mastering the system. And to understand that this is a science. This isn't just a trick here and a trick there, or you're experienced because you've flown 1 million miles. No, that doesn't qualify you. It's what if you flew 1 million miles because your job required it, and your travel agent or someone in your office was booking your travel. I meet all the time CEOs and other executives who have all these miles, and they boast about, these upgrade and this other upgrade and how many miles, and I took my family to Bora Bora and with all, in business class or first class. And then in the conversation, I sat next to them on the plane many times, and in the conversation, it becomes very clear that they really don't know some of the basics of the system. It's because they don't really have to. They have people who book these tickets for them, and then they don't really care about saving money because the company pays, right? So in terms of my savings, I had a client a few years ago who was going down to Patagonia in southern Chile, and I saved him $1,300. This was an economy ticket. But because it was a combination of at least a couple of airlines, and there is this practice you might heard of code sharing, when one airline puts its code on another airline's flights and they sell it and market it as their own flight, but it's actually operated by a partner airline. Because of all this creates a way for the airlines to overcharge you without you knowing it. And so I am decoding that, and I teach. Okay, this is the code. This is booked in H class, but if it's booked in, let's say, a W or a T class, that actually will be $200 lower. So how can you make the system book it in this other booking code rather than what the website is offering you? So these are it's not a trick. It's just the down in the weeds a little. And then in business class, my biggest savings, let's see here, $5,000. This was a ticket to Mongolia for my old boss when I was at the Washington Times many years ago. Not that many years ago, but and so he needed to make a last-minute trip to Mongolia to interview the president of Mongolia, and the lowest he could find, and then when I first searched, was over $8,000 round trip from Washington, and I found it for $3,200.
Nicholas Kralev is a globe-trotting author and entrepreneur, having visited almost 100 countries, having flown for more than 2 million miles, is going to really be teaching us some valuable tools in order to get the best out of our travel. Make it more affordable, make it more convenient, make it a little bit more comfortable and fun. Give us a couple secrets that you're just two. Don't share everything with us right now. Just give us 2 secrets for the frustrated traveler that we can take with us here today.
Oh, if someone claims that they can teach you how to do this in a few minutes or even a few hours, I wouldn't believe them. But and this is, as I said before, it's a science, and if one really wants to master the game, and not necessarily master it because that takes a bit of a time, but to understand how airfares come about, how an airline ticket price is made, what it consists of, then they do need to go into the science and the codes and what this means, what that means. But I'm happy to share a couple of facts that have to do with airfare publishing. For example, domestically, the airlines publish fares 5 times a day. So at any given time, so this is at 10 o'clock Eastern time, then 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 4 times a day, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 8 o'clock. So 4 times a day during the week, and then once on weekends. And what that means is that at those times, a fare that's in the market in between 2 cities can be put on the market, can be pulled off the market, and can be changed. So you can still have the fare, but it may be $10 more or $20 more. So when you see $99 round trip from the East Coast to the West Coast, buy it, because if it's 10 o'clock in the morning, if it's 10:30 by 1 o'clock, it probably will be gone. But generally, the airlines would publish the lowest discounted fares. They start publishing them on Tuesday, and then by Thursday afternoon, they'll start pulling them from the market. So generally, again, there are exceptions because this is a very dynamic system, but generally, for domestic tickets, this is only domestic, booking Tuesday, Wednesday, and first half of the day on Thursday would be the best time. Now, this is the booking days, not the travel days. Again, exceptions, as always happen. So if you see a really, really low fare on a Saturday or a Sunday, it happens. I'm just saying generally what goes on. And then in terms of travel days, for a long time, the advice has been Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, again, domestically, are the best days to travel because that's when the fares are cheaper, typically. It still holds. There are more exceptions just because of this dynamic pricing. And I've seen recently quite low fares on Sundays, for example. Sundays used to be, oh my God, everybody travels on Sunday, so the airlines are not going to publish anything cheaper. I've seen high fares on Monday than on Sunday. So because of business people tend to travel Monday morning, of course. So just a bit of a taste, I suppose. But again, this really has to do with the science behind behind this and the raw data that has to do with codes and how many seats in each code are made available on each flight and how to actually look up this unfiltered inventory. Because what you see on websites, on anything, Expedia or Kayak or any of these aggregate sites where people buy tickets most of the time, you essentially outsourcing the sausage making to these sites, right? You're saying, I want to go from here to here. You tell me how much I should pay. Well, no. I want to go to the raw data. I want to see, if I'm going to Tokyo, I want to see from Washington to Tokyo, what is the lowest published fare? Not available. I don't want to look at that yet. I want to see what's the lowest published fare between these 2 cities. And then I want to see what the rules and conditions of the fare are. Then I want to see if I can actually meet them. Can I travel on a Monday through Thursday, or because typically internationally Monday through Thursday the fares are a little lower than Friday and the weekend, Friday through Sunday. Although that depends on the direction you're traveling and whether you go to Europe or Asia and all that. That's why it's complicated, and it's not easy to just say tip 1, tip 2, tip 3. But the point is that the system that I use, that I will show on August 4th, gets down to the raw data before the sausage is made, because I want to make my own sausage in a way. Because given that, and this is all using these, I'm not breaking any rules. That's why no airline has come after me, even though my book has been out for 7 years. And one of the reasons I'm doing the Smithsonian class is because some of the book, not the airfare part of the book, but the frequent flyer part of the book, the loyalty program part of the book, is a bit out of date because the airlines have made all these changes. But again, the airfare part still holds because that system is so complex and it's global that they can't really make any significant changes just overnight or even over a year or two.
I just again encourage my audience to spend a few hours with Nicholas Kralev on August 4th and gain some of these practical skills, develop some savvy to improve your travel life, save some money, have a little bit more fun. And I think it's important to point out too, you're going to learn how to master the frequent flyer game and fly with a little bit more luxury. Nicholas Kralev, we're looking forward to seeing you on August 4th, but thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on, and people can also go to my website, which is nicholaskralev.com, just my name.com, and go to travel, and they will see what the course, what the class is all about, and we'll get some feedback on the book from readers and people who have come to my seminars before.
Very helpful. Thank you, Nicholas Kralev. We'll put links up to your site, of course, where people can find out more information about you and the upcoming Smithsonian Associates presentation. But thanks again, and happy travels to everybody. But definitely check out Nicholas Kralev on August 4th. Thanks, Nicholas.
You're welcome.
My thanks to our guest today. And please check out our website at notold-better.com for more information and conversation. And thanks to all of you, my wonderful audience, for your charming, encouraging, and advice-driven emails with show and topic suggestions. Please keep them coming at info@notold-better.com. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at notoldbetter, and you can find us on Facebook as well. We are Not Old Better there on Facebook. Podcasts of the Not Old Better Show are available on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Amazon's Alexa. How are you today, Alexa?
I'm doing great.
Alexa, play the Not Old Better podcast.
Getting the latest episode of the Not Old Better Show. Here it is from TuneIn.
You can always find us online at notold-better.com, where you can find all of our archives. You can share a link, you can get in touch, and I look forward to hearing from you. I'm Paul Vogelzang, and please, everyone, let's talk about better. The Not Old Better Show. Thanks, everybody.